In this video, I aim to give you a functional understanding of how companies create products in fashion from scratch. End to end is a term we use to describe the development of a product from start to finish. And it also sits at the core of all fashion companies. We will cover key definitions, how calendars are designed, how long it takes for one end-to-end cycle to complete, who is involved, and then we'll dive into every single step of the end-to-end process. So let's get started. End-to-end, from start to finish, is also used to describe the scope of buyers and merchandisers in the industry. As the division of labor is different in almost every company, from a buying and merchandising perspective, when someone asks you, do you have end-to-end experience? They would be asking if you have experience in managing products from concept all the way until the moment it is available at point of sales, from one end to another. For you to be truly exceptional in this industry, you must have experience in end-to-end buying and merchandising and be familiar with every step in the cycle. We'll get to every step in just a bit, but before that, we will need to understand its impact. Fashion is highly trend dependent, seasonal, and ultimately a game of inventory management. And that's why timelines and calendars are so important to the proper functioning of a company. Fashion merchandising calendars are built by counting backwards from the moment products must arrive in stores, which means the length of the end-to-end cycle will determine how long in advance we have to plan for the season. The amount of time it takes for us to complete the end-to-end cycle is also referred to as lead time, which measures the duration of a process from start to finish. Say the company's lead time, or the time they need to complete the entire end-to-end cycle, is 12 months, and they're planning for the fall-winter 26 season. The fall-winter 26 season starts in July of fall-winter 26, meaning with a 12-month lead time, the company will kick off the end-to-end cycle for fall-winter 26 in July of 2025, hence the 12th month lead time. This is because each department involved will get a specific deadline to complete their work and hand it over, so the next step in the end-to-end cycle can start on time. Companies split out their calendars differently. Some divide up their product drops to 4 seasons a year, others 2 seasons a year. So spring, summer, and fall, winter, those 2 drops. This would mean if you divide up the year into 2 seasons, there will be one calendar that tracks the end-to-end cycle for spring, summer, and another that tracks fall, winter. We have a love-hate relationship with calendar tracks. The truth is, you will be working on at least 2 or more seasons at any given point in time. For example, you could be in the actual selling or trading season for fall-winter 25, but would also have to manage the buys for fall-winter 26, while simultaneously you will have to look at the product line for spring-summer 27. So there's a lot of moving pieces. To understand why lead time is the way it is, let me give you a couple of factors that influence a company's lead time. The first factor is a brand's business model. If we're talking about legacy and luxury brands that compete on brand heritage, brand storytelling, and cultural influence, we're normally looking at a lead time of around 12 months. This is mostly because of the fact that they have to market their brand a certain way that best suits their brand positioning. So a lot of time is spent on storytelling, on marketing campaigns, and product activations. This sits on top of the already complicated product development process, which involves sophisticated design, exclusive fabrics, fabric technology, graphics, and trims, just to name a few. There's also the big complexity of different channels you have to sell to, and the high probability that bigger partners, wholesale partners, would want exclusive products for a couple of their stores. You would also need to set up showrooms and regional sales meetings to present your product line for the season to franchisees and distributors, and on top of that, wholesale partners, to ensure that the brand values and marketing messages are communicated in the best way possible. And that is exactly why lead time is so long for these companies. There's a lot of moving pieces to take care of. On the other end of the spectrum, you would see your fast fashion brands like Zara and ultra fast fashion brands like Shein. And these brands mostly compete on speed to market, affordability, the breadth of offering, so how many products they offer, and accessibility. And that's exactly why companies like this would need a shorter lead time. What they're doing here is a strategy called fast following, where they copy styles and trends seen in runways or showrooms or even competitors. They kind of just imitate and launch these products en masse. These companies mostly sell to their customers directly, meaning they own all their stores and online stores, so they have complete control over these stores. They don't have to answer to wholesale demands, as the business model in this case is opting for maximum control over their business. So if we were to look at Zara, we'll be looking at a lead time of around 4 weeks. And if you're looking at ultra fast companies like Shein, the lead time could be as fast as 7 to 14 days. So the goal here is for these companies to react to customer demand and trends immediately, to provide instant gratification at scale, with a huge selection of items launching bi-weekly or even weekly, so that there's something fresh for the customer in stores or online at any given point in time. Another factor would be production quantity. As a company, are you able to command the bulk of the factory's capacity with really big orders? Many smaller companies struggle with lead time due to small order quantities. Factories are looking to max out capacity, efficiency, and definitely are looking to go for bigger orders. This way they operate more efficiently. The smaller orders are hence less prioritized for the factory. The last factor is geographical location, where the factories are located and the regions they're servicing. If you're producing locally, then you would be producing goods where they will be sold. This definitely shortens lead time. In contrast, if you're producing your goods overseas, manufacturing and also shipping can add months to your lead time. For instance, if you're servicing the Asia Pacific region, you would most definitely want to optimize for suppliers that are in your region. This way, the transport time is shorter and the cost of transportation is lower. So to sum up, Lead time affects the end-to-end process as it dictates how long in advance you will have to start working on a season. So who is involved in the end-to-end cycle? At international companies, the key roles involved are split into global and regional. The bulk of the product creation and development work is done at global headquarters. Global sets the creative direction and makes sure regional needs are covered. And those in regions provide feedback on the global line based on their regional needs and also submit product briefs based on unmet needs that are not covered. Those in region are fully responsible for their buys for the season and how to maximize their sales using the inventory they bought. There are also companies that operate regional creation centers to better cater to local needs. At global headquarters, you would have design and color teams that set the tone of the creative direction for the season, the product development team that translates creative vision into fabrics and garments, and product managers that ensure the final product line meets market needs and achieves business objectives. When it comes to regions, most companies divide the world up into three main regions. EMEA being Europe, Middle East, and Africa. North America and Latin America, pretty self-explanatory. APAC, which is Asia Pacific and includes Greater China, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, and Australia. The bigger the company is, the more precise they are with the division of labor. At regional headquarters, buyers and merchandisers curate the regional product range using the global pool of products according to regional needs. What they also do is they submit regional product requests to global to capture unmet needs that they identify. They also submit product briefs to regional creation centers if applicable. Planners, on the other hand, decide how much of each product to buy, how much to allocate to each store, and own the open to buy for each season. More info about this later on. The responsibilities of buyers and planners vary greatly from one company to another. So that sums up everything about division of labor and who's involved. Let's dive into each step of the end-to-end cycle. There are two parts to the end-to-end cycle: pre-season and in-season. Pre-season is about the future. In-season is about the present. Pre-season is about building the foundation for a future season and happens months before a selling season. Here we mostly focus on product creation, buying strategy, assortment planning, and inventory investment. In-season, on the other hand, refers to when the products go live and when selling starts. It's about making tactical adjustments, optimizing for sales and profitability within the actual selling season. This is where you will do real-time inventory management, balancing stock from between different channels and stores, engage in launch delays and pull forwards, and inventory chases should inventory sell too fast. Let's talk about preseason. Preseason would cover all that we do before the actual selling season and includes 5 stages: research, development, assortment, quantification, and production. This is where you gather information to create the best product lineup possible for a future season. Research is something that is done throughout the year, but this is more of a stage where you book time to look over your findings to inform product briefs and assortment feedback. As fashion is a mix of art and science. Here we have to combine the two to arrive at the best product lineup possible. The research we are doing can be divided into quantitative, which is numbers and data driven, and qualitative, which is trends and customer behavior heavy. Both qualitative and quantitative research can come from internal and external sources. Let's take a look at some examples. When it comes to qualitative research that is internal, these may be periodic feedback sessions from stores. We go on store visits and walkthroughs throughout the year to collect store feedback from stores of different regions and different countries. And we also schedule monthly product calls to understand what the immediate feedback is coming from the customer. We can also engage in product lifecycle analysis, where you analyze where the product is in its product lifecycle journey, from development, introduction, growth, maturity, all the way until decline. At each stage, you would strategize a little differently. This is where you make decisions to update an existing product, introduce a new product, or kill something that is no longer needed or working. For qualitative methods that are external, these may be customer focus group and surveys. This is for us to understand the mindset of our key opinion leaders and mainstream customers at large. This could be questions like what brands are hot right now, what they think about our brand, what new activities are trending, or what new activities they want to participate in, so on and so forth. We also use this as an opportunity for them to test our products and give feedback on our product design. If participants are strong representatives, so if you've done your selection right, the feedback normally leads to much better sales down the line. We also look into competitor analysis. This is for us to understand what new products they're coming up with, what's their area of focus, what price points are they concentrating most of their new product offers in, and how are they activating their products in store. Also look into how people are responding to their product campaigns on social media. We would also go into their stores to take a look at how the messages come to life and how they're displaying their new products in store. Trend research is a really important one. This would normally come in a form of color, technology, silos, logo and logo application, different types of logos, styles. We also look into runway shows, fashion shows, and trend reports produced by forecasters like WGSN. If you're a sporting company, you also look into sports, gym, and leisure trends. Key calendar moments, that's a good one. Cultural moments such as Lunar or Chinese New Year, Christmas, retail occasions like Black Friday, back to school, Singles Day or Double 11, sporting events such as tournaments around the world, the Olympics. We mostly use key calendar moments as opportunities to get closer to the customer in the form of product capsules or exclusive products dedicated to that one moment. For quantitative internal methods, the go-to selection is historical sales. The goal is for us to learn about which products worked, which did not, and identify growth opportunities. We would normally focus on how much was sold and how fast we turned, how sales compared to last year, and whether there are more opportunities to increase investment in products that sold out very quickly. This is done through looking at top selling models, top selling colors, and top performing newness that we have launched for the very first time. Time horizon also matters. Breaking up our analysis into months and quarters allow us to fully understand seasonality trends and when sales start to pick up. When it comes to qualitative external methods, these are more limited and come in the form of industry reports from research and consulting firms like Nelson, WGSN, and consulting firms like BCG and McKinsey. These reports identify the big players in market, their relative market share, which product types are in high demand. There's also customer behavior and trend analysis included. And that's just a few trend reports that we look at. So that's the research stage in a nutshell. Internal and external, qualitative and quantitative research to prep for product development. This is where we apply research findings to develop the pool of products that are offered for a season. The pool of products is documented in line plans or range plans. Think of this as a detailed shopping list that everyone uses to pick out what they want to buy for the season. The translation from research to line plan requires regional and global collaboration to complete. The key stakeholders that we introduced earlier have to work together to make that happen. There are two types of line plans, or two formats: visual and spreadsheet. The visual line plan shows all products in image form and communicates which month each product launches or drops, organized by collections. The spreadsheet version of a line plan is a table that serves as a source of truth for all vital product information. This may include information such as item numbers, model names, product types, launch month, and collection, which means products designed to be used for the same purpose or occasion. To arrive at the final line plan, global teams will do the majority of the product creation work, where designers, the color team, product development teams, and product managers work together to combine qualitative inputs such as the creative direction and color palette for the season with quantitative inputs such as when products should launch, how many products to offer, and whether products offered serves customer needs, regional needs, and business objectives. All teams involved attend meetings called line reviews to go through drafts of the product line. In most companies, teams review the line 3 times before officially handing over the line plan to regions for sell-ins. Teams will also have to work with marketing teams to list out what are the key marketing campaigns and define which products are included in key outfits for each campaign. An assortment is the mix of products you offer to customers in a specific season, channel, or location. At a regional level, the buying team builds regional assortments using what's in a global line and additional product requests they submitted to fulfill business needs regionally. The assortment is made down to a country, channel, and segmentation level. Let's break down what those are. Channels are places brands sell their product in. There are 3 main channels out there in the market: retail, e-commerce, and wholesale/distributors. The first two, retail and e-commerce, are direct to customer channels, meaning brands own these channels directly and they sell directly to customers. Retail covers physical branded stores, and e-commerce refers to the brand's own website, applications, or brand-owned stores on big online platforms like Amazon. Wholesale or distributor channels are business-to-business channels. So one business sells to another. For wholesale, this would mean you sell to one client in bulk. These could be your JD in Europe or Atmos in Japan. For distributors, you are selling to a middleman that helps distribute products in a given region or country. There's also a type of business model where distributors operate their own store under the brand's name, selling products from just one brand. This is what we call mono-brand stores or distributor managed stores. Segmentation is the act of dividing a channel into smaller parts so you can be more precise with your assortment to ultimately sell the right products to the right people. Through the retail lens, segmentation would come in the form of store types. This would be the capacity of stores, location of stores, customer demographic, climate, product collection lean or preference, and many others. In e-commerce, segmentation would be looking at platform types. The Chinese ecosystem would be the best example for this. You would have an assortment for Tmall, one for JD, and another for TikTok, and another for Redbook, so on and so forth. As the customer demographics of each platform is different, the assortment will need to be tailored to meet the needs of each platform. In the wholesale and distributor channel, segmentation would refer to what your accounts or business partners specialize in, or the format of their business. The main account segmentations you would see are sports specialty stores that focus on one specific sport, general sporting goods stores that offer products related to many stores, department stores that focus on having a bit of everything but is more lifestyle leaning, and fashion stores that normally look for the best, most trend or boutique taste relevant pieces you have to offer in the line. After the assortment for all these channels, all these countries are curated, the buyers will pass on the assortment to planning teams for them to start the quantification phase. Along with that, buyers will also pass on vital strategic information such as key product focuses, top seasonal color investment, and product ranking to arrive at the final buy. This is also where buyers will meet with marketing teams to get an understanding of which marketing campaigns will be featured during every month of the season. This is where the planning team comes up with how much product to buy based on buyer recommendations and strategy, financial target, historical sales, inventory on hand, and the open to buy. The goal here is to place calculated bets on our assortment and allocate risk. The risk here is in whether the market will respond well to the products we bought for the season or not. What is key for the planning team is the open to buy, which is how much budget you have to spend on products or how much stock can be bought for a period in time, normally measured in seasons. This is heavily influenced by actual and planned sales, the inventory you currently have in stores and in the warehouse. It needs to account for the incoming product delivery bought for seasons leading up to the one you are buying for. The open to buy is dynamic, meaning big changes in one variable, such as inventory delays, sales spikes during sales and event periods, or unexpected store closures, may drastically influence your available open to buy. This is to help make sure we are not buying too few or too much for the season. Retail is ultimately a game of managing inventory well and selling full price to the best of our abilities. Overbuying will impact our margins and clog up space that could have been used to order newness for another season. Everything is connected. The global sourcing team takes care of all things production and factory communications related. These teams often are located in the country where goods are produced, like Vietnam or China. The sourcing team will review buys and check if the buys meet the minimum order quantity. In the case that there are orders coming below the minimum order quantity, or known as MOQs, buyers will need to either increase buys to meet the MOQ or cancel altogether and shift the buys into other products. Issues often occur when production starts. Other than product defects or very obvious product production errors, we sometimes experience production delays. When this happens, companies with a decent supply chain will have the sourcing team reach out to buyers for them to decide whether it still makes sense to continue with production, as some products have very strong seasonality, such as shorts and heavy outerwear. Launch delays can result in products missing the peak months of sales. This is when buyers will need to decide either to cancel or change the shipment method so that the order can arrive in time. If it still makes sense to produce, buyers will have to adjust product launch flows to make sure delayed products will still fit in the store seamlessly when it comes to displays. There are also occasions where the regional teams bought too much compared to current sales trajectory and will need to cancel on orders. If this is something the factory is already producing, the brand will have to pay cancellation costs to compensate for its labor, facilities, and raw material costs. Material shortages can also come up, which you just have to accept and shift the buys elsewhere if the material shortage were to pose risks to achieving your financial targets. And this would conclude the pre-season segment of the end-to-end cycle. In-season is when the season you bought for begins, and when customers start buying the products offered at point of sales. It includes two stages: warehouse and distribution, and launch and sell. Prior to starting a season, the buying team needs to provide cross-functional teams like visual merchandising, marketing, store and product education teams a thorough go-to-market plan to inform them of all seasonal priorities and product strategy. Warehouse teams would first check the inventory and track digitally which channel this inventory belongs to. Remember, we got 3 channels: e-commerce, retail, and wholesale. This is also where we check the price tag and hang tag to ensure everything is accurate and same as recorded in the systems. This step is extremely important as inaccurate prices will often lead to customer complaints that spiral into larger PR issues. Once the inventory arrival status is recorded in the system, allocation happens. This is when planners determine the quantities to ship out to every store for each product. Depending on strategic positioning of the product, we would be looking at 30% for most products and up to 40% for really strong seasonal bets and key commercial drivers. This is when our products go live in stores. Our main goal here is to make the best out of the inventory we have on hand, maximizing inventory productivity. The question is, how do we improve our business with what we got? The first thing we would do is track our sales performance periodically. This is for us to track our live performance against sales plans we have made for the season. The most common intervals are weekly, monthly, and quarterly. We also have to do smaller launch or smaller capsule reports when it comes to key campaigns and key product launches. So based on our sales performance, you can decide on whether to pull forward a future style to make up for an existing business gap that you're seeing after reading sales. If an item is not selling so well, you can think about expanding the number of stores it goes to increase its exposure in market and alleviate inventory pressure. You can also think about extending its life cycle or how long you're selling it for. Another way to alleviate pressure would be to rebalance stock between different channels, as underproductive stock in one channel may be super productive in another. You can also chase on new inventory coming in and reorder existing product based on a good sales read. And these are just some examples of things you can do after reading sales. At the end of the trading season, we do two things. The first thing would be we conduct sales hindsight meetings for the trading season and use these sales and product hindsights to form future buying strategy, adding onto our existing merchandising strategy if needed, so that we can capitalize on growth opportunities we identify during trading. This also provides us with a clearer picture of what new products to brief into the line in the future. The second thing we do is liquidation. Most products drop out after the selling season, meaning it kind of expires. It's no longer in stores, on shelves. This is because most products are meant to be sold for just one season unless it's a carryover. So what do we normally do with dropout inventory? You can think about selling it off to third parties through a wholesale transaction, one-off. You can send these dropout items to outlets to liquidate at a discounted price. You can host employee or friends and family sales to get rid of this stock. You can also get rid of the stock through promotional events, having it once or twice a year in stores and online to get rid of aged inventory. Or you can transfer the inventory to other regions that will find a productive use of the inventory. So that's everything I got for you today. If you got any comments, pop them in the section below, and feel free to let me know what else you want me to cover on this channel. I'll see you in the next one.